Oh, we're live now. Okay.
We're live. We're back. We're back. Welcome to this edition of Live with Drew and Eric on Horror Sci-Fi and Beyond, and we're going to talk about John
There we go.
Williams and his
There's a
illustrious
comment.
career. It's good. Someone commenting, they tell us we suck.
Boo, you suck.
Boo. Boo this man. I hope they throw celery at us.
Okay, yeah. Okay. I think I accidentally selected private. Yeah.
Okay.
Hopefully
Now it's all
when we
straight.
yeah, hopefully when we do more if we do more of these, we get our crap together.
Or we won't. Who knows? It's all the fun of tuning in, see if it's working, right?
Oh,
Will they get
absolutely.
it will they get it together? I don't know.
Okay,
It's not
here
the
we go.
fun.
Okay. Where are we at?
Where were we at? We were just leading into John Williams, um, and the amazing career he's had. Like 100 and something IMDb credits, like 160
Oh yeah.
something, like a ridiculous number. Some of those are like double ups because some of those like they use score in like other places, but like,
Hmm.
and he's got a lot of like composing or arrangements versus like composer, and so it gets in the weeds. But yeah, no, he's the man, he's the legend. He's been going strong since like the late '60s, early '70s, and netting like double Oscar nominations a year for like
Hmm.
decades. It's wild.
Yeah,
He's crazy.
it's crazy. Um, which is funny because Christopher Walken was in Catch Me If You Can.
Christopher Walken.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, he wasn't Catch Me If You Can.
yeah. So yeah, well, I think John Williams and Steven Spielberg, in my opinion, are like the without the doubt the greatest like director um composer duo ever. Like
I
there's
would
no
say
doubt
they
about
had
that.
I would say with they had like a solid like 30-year run
Oh yeah.
from like the 70s through the 90s
Hmm.
where it was just like one was inseparable from the other. Like the movie wouldn't have probably been as good without the score, and the score wasn't as good without the movie. I don't know. They go hand in hand. Like Close Encounters doesn't work without the music. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, that's probably like the biggest, the best example of that. But
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah, and Jaws too, because the shark didn't work, so they had to have something. So it's like,
right.
um, no, I mean like for from like the '70s through at least the '90s, early 2000s, like some just like classic stuff, like back to back to back to back. Probably
Yeah.
really through probably I say Private Ryan, I think is probably like they've had just an amazing run of like
Well, Catch Me If You
wonderful
Can had a
stuff.
really good one though. Doodaloo.
That would be probably like tops for me. Like
Doodaloo.
that's probably like their end of their like best stuff. But
Yeah. Well, for a while, because Fableman is amazing. It's an amazing score.
I don't remember the score. I was going to listen to it before we did this, but I didn't, and I
But
apologize.
anyways, let's get to it. What is your first one? Or the first
Uh,
one about?
yeah, I guess I'm going to start at the bottom of mine. And it's one that is a little outside. I guess not outside the box. We just talked about it a few seconds ago. But it's not that big orchestral sort of scores. It's more like jazzy and like sneaky, which is Catch Me If You Can. And it's great. It's wonderful. It's low key,
Mhm.
which is what you usually don't expect from a John Williams score, which is pretty bombastic and loud and great and amazing. But for the movie that they were making and the soundtrack, like perfectly mirrors it. Yeah, I love Catch Me If You Can.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and if anybody has decided to watch this stream, make sure you comment your favorite John Williams themes.
Or for idiots, we didn't name your favorite one. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Um, is that all you really want to say about Catch Me If You Can?
Yeah, no. I think it's a great place to start off on my list at least because it's like an outlier as far as like Spielberg and them goes.
Right.
I think for me, it's probably the last great one they did as far as like movie and score together.
Mm-hmm.
I think they both have like great scores and great movies after that, but like none of them have been quite as like great together since
Oh
then,
yeah, for
in
sure.
my opinion, at least. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, I think the first one I want to talk about is actually not a Spielberg movie. It's actually a Richard Donner movie.
Superman.
Yep. Heck yeah.
That
And that's gonna be the
was
planet.
gonna be yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be the planet Krypton
Mm-hmm.
from Superman. Um, I just freaking love the score, this theme, because superhero are modern myths and legends, and basically this theme tells the audience that you're about to witness the epic tale of Jor-El, um, the last son of Krypton, and I
Mm-hmm.
just love how epic it is. Um,
I agree. That's my next one up too. So it's like I guess we could just talk about all of our Supermans right now.
yeah,
Um,
yeah, I love the
yeah, no,
whole
this is
ba ba
yeah.
ba ba bum, ba 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 bum, ba 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 bum, ba 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 bum. Yeah,
It's great.
that's my
It's
Luffy
wonderful.
voice right there.
And it's like this is like the first. I mean, there like John Williams did like Poseidon Adventure, and like I think he did Towering Inferno before this. Maybe it
Mm,
was after this. But he'd done some like bigger scores, but this is like the first one that's just like iconic to me. Like this is the one he kind of like submitted himself as like
mm,
a theme that is bigger than the movie itself. Like
right.
I know people that know the theme, but have never seen like this Richard Donner Superman movie. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's good. It's great. It transcends the movie itself.
Yeah, for sure. Um, and just one more comment on that, just real quick. The thing I really love about that score, or just that particular theme, is I think Williams really tapped into like 1950s like epics, like the Ten Commandments
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
Ben Hur.
Mm-hmm.
Because like if you don't, I think it's like what you were saying, how the theme how the theme or the music in any movie, I guess, really like helps you believe in the movie. And I think
Oh, sure. Yeah.
without this big score that is reminiscent of those 50s epics, like you can't believe you probably wouldn't believe that a man could fly.
Sure. No, yeah. I mean, there are people out there who believe that the music shouldn't almost be noticeable. Like it should be like I think John Carpenter's a big proponent of this, which doesn't make sense because all of his music is very like standoutish compared to the movie, but they should almost just like go underneath and you don't even know that it's there. And I think to a certain extent, yes and no. I think sometimes you need to like the music complements the images and make you like you're saying like make you believe that a person can fly and like without it like I don't know if it would be as good. I don't know if that first Richard Donner Superman would be as good without John Williams score on it. Like if you just thrown any other 70s score onto it, probably not.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, what is your next one?
That was Superman. Superman was my next
Oh,
one.
that's right.
Yeah. I can jump to the one above that, I guess, if you want.
Mm-hmm.
Which would be Harry Potter. Which is pretty like as soon as you hear it, you kind of immediately. John Williams is very good at like building themes out of character. So like building like Harry's theme, and for like Indiana Jones, building Indiana Jones's theme, or like ET's theme, or even like in like Temple of Doom, there's like a theme for Short Round and a theme for Willie, and like
No time for luck,
everybody
Dr.
has their
Jones.
like. Do I know?
No time for luck, Dr. Jones.
I know, right? But like he's really good at
I
building
want
these sort of like.
potatoes. So I love Sword Round. It's my favorite indie
I do
sidekick.
love. Um,
Sorry, I keep
I
interrupting
don't know.
you.
I do love Sala. I think Sala may be my favorite. That and oh, what's his name? I forget his name. Either way,
Oh,
um,
friend from college.
yeah.
Or yeah, that other guy. The
God bless. What is his name? It doesn't matter. Anyway,
I see his face though too. I can't.
I'll think of it here in a minute, and then I'll just blurt it out. But no, John Williams is really good at
Brody.
like building.
I think his name is
Is it
Brody.
Brody? Is it Brody?
Yeah.
No, Brody's Jaws, isn't it?
I'm pretty sure it's Brody, and there might have been a reference to Jaws to Peter Benchley's character.
Maybe so. Maybe you're right. Either way, though, John Williams is really good at developing these like themes, and even when you lose them, you kind of bring them back in like subtle ways. Um, and so like the Harry Potter scores, like his theme for like Harry and Hedwig are like instantly recognizable, and
Mhm.
like went on for like a decade of these, and like seeing these kids grow up in it, like it's nostalgic for me to watch now in some ways, even though I'd never read any of the books. I only grew up watching the movies.
Right.
But yeah, no, like Harry Potter was like probably my fa- my favorite newer John Williams score.
Right.
Um, and probably the most recognizable. I think if you hear it, you immediately think of like
Yeah.
wizards and whatnot. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Um,
what's up next for you?
I'm gonna go to Harry Potter score, and it's Harry's Wondrous World from the first one.
Oh, it
Yeah,
may
so
be
it's
the
not.
same thing we're talking about.
Well, wait, well, it's
I don't
not.
know any of the track names. I didn't look up any of the track names. I
Well, it's
apologize.
not. Do 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 do. I believe it's when he first goes to Diagon Alley.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the
Mm-hmm.
bum 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 bum
Mm-hmm.
bum 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 bum. Do 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 do. I guess I don't know. Now I lost Sorcerer's Stone now. I really
The
do.
Sorcerer's Stone? No,
Yeah.
I mean I watched it. I rewatched all the Harry Potter movies during the pandemic, and
Mm,
the one thing I really noticed, especially is like they got progressively darker. The theme
yeah.
still keeps it light as air sometimes, which works really well, especially when it gets really dark later in later chapters
Yeah. I gotta ask, who's your favorite character?
in Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Who was it Black? Sirius Black?
Okay. Oh, okay. Jeopardy.
I mean, is that I can't remember his name. I think it's his name.
It's Black.
It's yeah, okay, yeah. Then that's yeah. You,
Did
for a
you?
second, you made me question it. I was like, is that his name?
I like Hermione.
I do love Hermione,
Yeah, not
and
for
I
the
do
obvious
love.
reasons, not for the reason you're thinking. It's because I just love how he's kind of like, because you're kind of like the surrogate to Harry, especially in like the first couple of films,
Sure,
or
we
maybe
follow
like the
his
first
story.
like
It's his
three or
hero journey. Yeah, of
four.
course.
I think by like the last couple, like, because what I'm trying to say is like he doesn't know anything about this world, and so you don't know anything about this
Sure,
world. You're looking
sure.
at it through his eyes. Um, Sure mind he's kind of like his guide. And I like how like he's such an unlikable, like bitsy character at the beginning, but then like I like how that mouth thing is like, that's not a PC word anymore, Drew. Sorry. That was kind of that was weird. But anyways,
It's
I just
okay.
like how he's how actually like her more and more.
No, 100%. And I
And it's
mean,
the only sorry.
no, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. And it's the only like role that I actually like ML Watson in because I've seen her in other stuff, but I'm like, she's okay. She's okay in Noah. She was completely miscast in Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah, she didn't really fit into that movie.
Well, she
I
was.
mean, I think all of these kids are like, and honestly, kind of perfectly cast, especially in those. And honestly, from like three on, the movies are pretty good, except for five. I hate five, but like from the Alfonso Cuarón one on, like they're
Yeah.
pretty great, and like most of the kids are pretty solid in them, and they haven't really done much after that. They kind of lived in this sort of Harry Potter shadow for a very long time, and
Mm.
I guess they still kind of do live in
I
it.
think Daniel Radcliffe it was it's probably like the most successful outside of Potter. But then again,
I
Rupert
suppose
Grint
so.
is doing great work on Servant and
Yeah,
Knack at the Cabin. Like
yeah,
he's a completely different character in Servant.
which is good. Which I'm assuming he wanted those roles. He wanted to the release himself from the best friend sort of role, but yeah,
But
Good
yeah,
for him
okay,
then.
so anyways, why I like this particular song. Um,
Sure.
and I guess it kind of has to do with the trip. Me and my dad took the Universal Studios. Um, it was the first and I guess only time I went to the Harry Potter world. And I was blown away.
Mhm.
And I have only seen the first four movies at that point, and this was like back in 2014. Um, and just seeing the whole world, and even hearing this particular song, like walking through, Hogsmeade, um,
Mhm.
which is
Mhm.
in Islands of Adventure, and then you take the Hogwarts Express to Diagon
Grab you a
Alley.
butter.
Hearing that,
Grab you a butter beer. Just go
yeah,
shop for
well, I didn't get
wands.
butterbeer, but
I
hearing
mean,
the
they're not an alcoholic. You can just have it. It's just like cream soda.
yeah, but hearing the whole do 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 do, just I don't know, just hearing that, just like it's from the movies or just on the soundtrack, it brings me back to that time period when my dad took me to Universal Studios because we had such a good time there.
For sure.
And also, I know I get judged a lot for loving Steven Spielberg for sucking that Spielberg dick, metaphorically speaking.
Yeah. Go
Um,
for it.
I think to me, what Spielberg and Williams represents and this theme helps illustrate that is the
Mm.
magic of
Mhm.
movies. And I love all kinds of movies. And I even kind of defend my Spielberg love with the opposite, saying that I also love David Fincher and John Carpenter, and they're very cynical. Almost none of their movies end with a happy ending compared to Spielberg, where all his movies pretty much, like even Schindler's,
No.
there's that moment when when the was it the real people, the real survivors of the Holocaust, they go up to the tombstone
At
and
the end of Schindler's List, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So
Um,
even
yeah.
though it's a very hard movie to watch, that it still leaves you on a good note compared to like
Yeah.
I
No,
mean,
yeah, no, I
it's
mean,
still
yeah, no, you're
tragic. It's
right.
still messed up. They had to live through that, but it's not like completely bad now. It's not like a dour note.
Sure, 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 sure. And
The
I
people
don't think
still
you
cry
have
at
to
the end of the movie.
justify.
Though. I'm not saying anything against that. Saying against that. I'm just saying.
No, no, and fair, and I don't think you have to like justify that you love Spielberg. I mean, I think he's a great filmmaker. I don't think you should feel any shame in like
Well,
loving his work.
I just think because like his name is so synonymous with Hollywood and movies, I just think it's like, oh, you like Spielberg? How obvious. So I
Yeah,
think
but it is
I
now. I mean, like in the late '70s, early '80s, like
mm,
he was the underdog. He was the guy who was making stuff outside of the like
right.
making stuff that was almost guaranteed to fail at a certain point. Like Jaws was not supposed to be a big hit. It was like a best-selling novel that was about a shark. Like it's the most preposterous movie in the world that somehow still works. In all honesty, like it's wild.
Yeah.
And he's got a gift. He's got a touch.
Yeah. Did you
There's
ever
no wrong in loving
just
that.
real quick,
No,
did you ever read um Memories from Martha's Vineyard?
mm-mm,
The book
I
is
haven't.
so good.
I
I'll
believe
start
it.
my copy. It's so good.
Okay, done.
Because I've seen maybe at least a good two or three Jaws documentaries or the making of Jaws
Yeah,
documentary. And it's
yeah,
always the usual suspect. Because always, of course, Spielberg, John Williams, the
right.
directors, Zanuck, and the other guy, Brown.
Mm-hmm.
It's always, Roy Sider and Richard Dreyfuss and all these
Right.
other people that you always see
Sure.
in all these documentaries about the movie.
Right.
Um, this one has an introduction with Spielberg, but almost the whole book is from a local's perspective.
Okay.
Of, um,
That
and
sounds interesting. That sounds great. Like, I know the locals weren't exactly excited about them coming to
well, yeah,
film
that
in there.
controversy with one of the Kennedys because he was driving
Right.
that
Right.
one back from that
Right.
charity thing.
Mm-hmm.
He accidentally supposedly drove off a bridge, and he swam off without
Supposedly.
saving her, and he
Right.
went to the hotel, and then the next day reported it to the authorities. And then there was a huge controversy about like he did it on purpose or he had ill intentions, and it was
Right.
a huge news story. And even
Sure.
the book gets into that to kind of set things in context. And I didn't know that, so that's. And the
Dope.
thing about it is, like, I thought you always hear about Spielberg and his crew going through hell, like during the ocean things,
Mm-hmm.
but I didn't realize like the whole suit with a crack suit, like all that was. And you're actually allowed, or when they weren't filming on the weekends, they were allowed to go back on the mainland. And Spielberg basically didn't want to go on the mainland because he thought to himself that he would never want to go back to Martha's Vineyard.
Right. But he left the last shot. I've heard that before. That he like the last shot was up and he was just like, I'm getting on a plane, I'm out of here. Bye guys.
Yeah, and
Bye.
apparently in the early days he didn't like to go to his movie premieres or do all the press kind of stuff.
Right.
Right. But
He still doesn't do like commentary tracks for the most part.
yeah, he needs to. I don't care what movie it is. It could be fucking Twilight or Magic Mike, Triple
I
X,
mean,
whatever it is. Or Triple X,
Fableman would
whatever.
have been the perfect one for him to do a commentary track on.
Oh yeah.
But
Yeah, that movie. I don't know. I keep kissing that movie's butt, but that movie and even the documentary I saw, like it really opened my eyes and made me see his movie or think about his movies in a different light for sure.
sure. No, I need to watch that documentary. It's just called Spielberg, right?
Right? Yeah, it's really
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. I've heard good
I'm
things. I need
glad
to watch it.
I'm actually because that came out a while ago, but I'm glad I watched Fableman's first, so I can kind of
Mm,
get wrapped up in the emotions and kind
sure,
of seeing it,
sure.
kind of seeing his touch to his story instead
Of
of
course.
somebody
Of course.
else's,
Of course.
take on it. But just kind of all of a sudden went into like a Steven Spielberg.
I mean, we're about to just probably dump the next like 4 or 5 of ours are going to be Spielberg's no matter
Yeah.
what. Except for
So,
the next one of mine, which is not.
wait, what is it?
And this is the only one that I have specifically down. And it is Star Wars, but it is not
Anyone in
the Star
particular?
Wars theme. It is one from one of the most maligned Star Wars movies. It's from Episode 1, The
Ooh,
Phantom Menace,
really?
and honestly, it may be the best Star Wars music. It's a hot take, I know. People will be upset, maybe. I don't know,
I
but
don't. I
Duel
won't
of
fight
Fate,
you. I
Duel
mean,
of
it's
Fate
all good.
from
It's all good. It's all awesome.
I don't know. I mean, I think it's better. I think it's better than. Oh, this is gonna get me hate. I think it's better than the Star Wars theme in some ways. It's great. It works perfectly within like the movie itself. It's epic. It's got this like real like. First off, it's just John Williams, so it's a big orchestral score. But then it's also got this sort of like choir that comes in. That's
Oh yeah, Duel
man,
of Fates
super
is
involving.
so good. I love Duel of
So
Fates.
good. It's my favorite. It's my favorite track. It's my favorite Star Wars track
Bum,
above all the rest of them.
bum,
So
bum,
good.
bum, bum.
They start singing. It's great. Wonderful. So good.
Yeah, I really feel like his Star Wars thing, especially the one in the prequels and even a little bit in the older ones, remind me
Mm-hmm.
a lot of that one really classical piece, The Planets, especially like Mars. Like
Mm-hmm.
you
Mm-hmm.
can't tell me that whenever John Williams was writing a theme or musical motifs for the Emperor or the bad guys in those Star Wars movies, he did not take inspiration from um Mars.
Oh, I mean, probably did
Yeah,
for sure.
he probably took a lot from Philip Glass.
Maybe, although Philip Glass's stuff is a little more amorphous, a little more abstract than John Williams stuff is.
Well, yeah. Well, I don't know because there's a couple of Philip Glass music stuff with Vecna and Stranger Things. So I don't know when that stuff came out.
Sure. I mean,
That,
yeah,
that
no,
was
I
their
mean,
that was
Philip
their
Glass
Star
does do
Wars.
the other stuff, but yeah, no.
Well, I'm missing that
I
whole thing in Stranger Things 4 when you reveal who Vecna is. But you can't tell me that was not. That did not remind you of the Emperor. But that
I
was
mean, I
very
guess so. I had already figured out who Vecna was like long before long before they got to that big like I'm number one. I'm like I got it. I figured it out. But yeah, I got problems with Stranger Things season 4, but it's better than season 3. I'll say that. So
yeah, for sure. You ready for my next one?
yeah, hit it.
Which one do I want to do? Um, let's go with Wild Signals from Close Encounters.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh. I
yeah.
mean, I'm amazed that Close Encounters is this low on your list,
Well, this
but also
isn't
not
order.
amazed.
This is whatever I want to talk about.
Oh, you're just like random. Okay, good, good, good.
Yeah. Um, this is one of the best examples as music as another language because each
Mm-hmm.
note from both the humans and aliens both complement each other like
Yeah.
extremely well. So you got the do 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 from the aliens, and then you got the humans go bomb bomb do 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 bomb bomb do 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 bomb 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 do 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 bomb bomb.
It's so great. I mean, it's the
Well, I like that
idea
big.
of
I
like
like that big musical note. Like towards the end of
for
that
sure
section of it, they go boom boom, and then like the fucking glass breaks.
showers of glass. Yes, 100%. It's such a great thematic thing to tie into the movie that works so well. Because how would people who can't speak communicate? They would communicate through noise and sound. And what's the most perfect sounds is musical sounds, like complementary music. It's a it's great. I love Close Encounters. And the music in Close Encounters is perfect, in
Do
my
you like it
opinion.
more than ET?
Man, Close Encounters and ET are like notch and notch to me. Like
I love
ET is the perfect Spielberg score. Does that make sense? Like is the perfect like wonder magic, like what you were talking about earlier with like
mm,
magic and wonder and like
yeah, I guess that's
sort of
true.
like growing up. Like ET is a perfect Spielberg score.
Well, if
Um,
somebody were to ask me what Spielberg's masterpiece, I would have to give you two answers. I think as
mm,
far as the best representation for Matt, like his more child friendly kind of movie, E.T. for
sure,
sure.
yeah,
But later in his career, he did more dramatic movies like Munich and
sure.
Saving Private Ryan, Empire of the Sun, which is really
Hmm.
underrated.
No, it
Um,
is. No, for sure.
and
And
I
the
would
score for
say,
that is amazing too.
yeah, and I would say for his more dramatic kind of movies, has to be Cinema Plus, hands down.
I don't know. I would say probably Saving Private Ryan. I think is probably his better is the John Williams better score. But I mean, but it's apples to oranges too, though. Like I completely agree with you in that it's probably Schindler's List is the quieter, softer version of it. But also at the same time, the theme from that they play every Veterans Day any place I've ever been. So I don't know which
Oh,
one lives
for
on.
Schindler's List or Ryan?
Saving Private Ryan,
Yeah.
like the net whatever the main score is in that I've heard it so many times that just like
Yeah. Well, speaking of Schindler's
veterans
List,
for
I
you know.
tried to watch that like a while ago, and I got to the part when around fine to just like randomly sniping Jews. And yeah, I'm like, yeah, I can't watch this anymore. So I turned it off. But I
Oh no,
do
you haven't finished it? You haven't finished it?
now I do want to watch it finish watching
Oh,
it.
you should go
Yeah.
back. Go back and finish it.
Well, because that was like back to back, right? Because it was like that was like right after like the Jews were taking being taken out of the
Oh,
town.
sure.
And that was of course really hard to watch. So I think I'm gonna skip all that part, all that stuff, because that's just, I can't do it anymore. I can't watch that
Mm,
anymore.
that's fair. I would say watch it even if it's hard because that's what was intended. Is that it's supposed to be hard.
I know,
But
but I can't get that out of my mind anymore. So I can't.
no, that's fair. That's fair. I would say finish it though at some point though. It's worth
It
finishing.
was funny. Like I mean, I don't enjoy the opening to Saving Private Ryan, but I can handle that way, way, way more.
I don't know. It's hard too. Like the first like D-Day, the D-Day invasion of like Normandy, fucking hard, so
Yeah,
hard.
But then again, I kind of think of my dad a lot of the time too, that he was a combat medic.
Was he in Vietnam or was
Yeah,
he
no, he's
just
not
like
that
enlisted?
old.
Okay, I'm just wondering. I'm asking. Like,
Yeah,
was
I
he
think
in
it was
like?
like Iraq, Afghanistan, I believe.
Okay, so like Gulf War maybe.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, because I think he was enlisted in the 90s, maybe the late 80s.
Then it would have been Gulf War probably.
Yeah. But yeah, I know he's seen some pretty nasty stuff. So yeah, I guess. But I don't know. I don't know. For some reason, and that's far more graphic, like visually.
Oh, for sure.
But
It's hard. It's hard to watch. Both of those movies are hard to watch. Some of Spielberg's '90s movies are rough.
yeah,
Even like that transition out of the '90s, like Munich's, like there's some like rough scenes in that. Not including the sweaty sex scene, which is also rough to watch because that's a lot of sweat.
I want to watch that movie just for that. I want to see what a Steven Spielberg sex scene would look like.
It is something, and it happens in the last like 5 minutes of the movie, and whew, it's something. The rest of the movie is pretty
I
great.
can't see the
Like
picture of
there's
him
some hard
wrecking
stuff to watch, but
Nirvana through that scene.
just I've only seen Munich once, in like 2006, but
When he first came out.
yeah, when it first came out, but I haven't watched it since then. And that scene and the scene where there's a guy in a ski mask who gets stabbed in the head, it's like stuck in my brain. Those two scenes, and they're like rough. Both of them are, both of them are rough for different reasons.
Yeah. Yeah, that was about a terrorist attack, right?
Yes, no, it's the Olympic terrorist attack in, I don't remember the year. It's been a
Yeah.
decade since I've seen that movie. I don't know.
Yeah, because I actually went to Munich. I mean, that kind of
Mm.
explained it to me. So anyways, I guess do you want to go?
I think I did Duel of Fates. Did you do one?
No, I did Close Encounters.
Okay then. My next one up is Raiders. And I don't have a particular theme. I mean, probably just the main theme, which I don't know the name of off the top of my head. I'm sorry if anybody tuned in for specific names of titles. I don't remember them. But
I think it's
the
called the
entire
Endmark.
score. Okay. The theme for Raiders is um classic, just Spielberg wonder and adventure. Like it boils together all the things that he had. So I think it takes a little bit of Jaws. It takes a little bit of like Close Encounters. It takes all these like Sugarland Express. It takes all these things and kind of like mashes them all together. And I think it's wonderful. I think it is probably the most recognizable of all of John Williams Spielberg themes are, besides Jaws, maybe. Um, because I think Jaws is probably the most of all of them. Maybe Close Encounters. I don't know. There are like two or three that are like the circle around the top that are like easy to recognize. But this one is crowd pleaser, rouser. Everybody claps when it comes on. It's great. I love the theme from Raiders. It's so good.
Right. Sweet man. Um, trying to think. So you want me to go?
Yeah, go
Yeah.
for it. I only have two left, so I don't know how many you have left.
I got quite a few.
I've got a lot of honorable mentions, so I can go through those as well.
Okay. I'll go through the ones that I didn't have specific notes for, and then I'll get to the last two I had notes for.
Okay.
Okay, so throne moon scene from Star Wars.
Mm. Mm.
Good
Mm-hmm.
scene from Empire.
Mm-hmm.
The Imperial March, obviously the bum 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 ba dum bum ba dum.
So good.
Yeah, somewhere in my memory from Home Alone, the do do
Mm. That's some
do.
honorable mentions too. The Home Alone theme, so good.
Setting this
I can't.
round. Oh,
You can't.
sorry.
I can't think of it outside of Christmas, and or outside of like Home Invasion. Like those two are like synonymous in my brain for some reason.
um, Staying the Trap from Home Alone. My personal favorite, Welcome to Jurassic Park. Um, well, I mean that's there's a whole other video.
Sure.
Um, him to the Fallen from Saving Private Ryan, and then one barrel chase from Jaws. That do 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 do
Mm.
do.
Mm-hmm. No, I don't. I think that Jaws. Um, People like to think of that score, that bum 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 bum, as like Jaws, but like the better score for me is like the second half of the movie when it becomes an adventure movie.
Hmm.
That score is amazing, and it really informs like all the stuff that came after Spielberg wise, like as far as like Raiders and Close Encounters and all that sort of stuff. I love the first score. The second half of it's so much better, in my opinion.
But yeah, for sure. Um, so I'll do my second to last one with
Okay.
notes. I originally had this as the end credit scene for Last Crusade, but it is really Last Crusade
Mm.
in general because this is really like a sweet.
Mm-hmm.
Because I love the score. Because it has a real medieval feel to it.
Mm-hmm.
Because the legend of the Holy Grail go back to Arthurian legend. And there's also a tender side to the score. Um, which reminds the viewers of Indy's relationship with his father.
Yeah.
And there's like a urgency to it because this is more globetrotting than the other indie movies.
Mm-hmm.
And also there's a little bit of like a Nazi kind of march kind of feel to it because Nazis are involved in here.
Weaving in all those themes. He's so good. He's so good at that, of like taking like all these like themes from like other movies or just like other points in the movie and just like weaving them all back together into like one suite. It's amazing. It really is.
For
So
sure.
wonderful. I mean, the only person I can think of other than that, who did Lord of the Rings? So that's Shore? Is that Howard Shore? Same guy who did like Cronenberg stuff. Um,
Yeah,
the only
Howard, he
person
also did he was actually he was like the first composer for SNL.
didn't know that, but that's amazing too. The only other person I can think who does that thing, who does that sort of thing regularly would be Howard Shore. But like John Williams is a man, but he's retiring. This is his last year, which is why we're talking now
Yeah,
about
and
him.
I like and that's the whole reason why we're doing this, because he's retiring or he's retired. Um
Yeah.
and I really do like the last indie score. It's not as memorable as some of the other ones, but it was so cool to hear it, in theaters. Um,
It was
I really
fine.
wish Fableman's would have been his last score because that's one of the more memorable ones, and it's wrapping up his collaboration with his old pal Stevie
Sure.
Spielberg.
Sure.
And I
Will he
always
come back out of will he come back out of the woodwork again for another Spielberg? Maybe.
I don't know,
Will he come back out of this woodwork for another movie? Maybe not. But could Spielberg coax him back out again? Probably.
maybe.
Maybe.
Well, like I think starting in like the 2010s, Spielberg started working with other composers. Like he worked with dude that did Shawshank Redemption. I can't think of his name. Thomas Newman. He worked with
Mm-hmm.
Thomas
Mm-hmm.
Newman
Mm-hmm.
on British Spies. He worked with Alan Silvestri, I believe, on Ready Player One. He worked with a bunch of different people.
Oh
Um,
yeah. No. I mean Spielberg's worked with other people composer wise, but like his best movies his best movies are composed with John Williams.
but he's always worked since Sugarland Express. He's always worked with John Williams. Always.
Not mm,
No, I think he did. I think he did. I think he has.
did he do always? Did John Williams do always?
I think he did.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know for sure. I believe you, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if it was in like a 1-2 for forever, but I know like almost every Spielberg movie of note came from came with a John Williams score involved in it. So
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's all of them up until 2010s.
I thought there was one or two in there that was weird that were like off the cuff that weren't Yep.
maybe.
Like Color Purple. I don't think he did the score for Color Purple.
I think he
And I
did.
don't think he did the score for Always. I don't know. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. Internet, please
Mm,
call me out if I'm wrong. I may be. You have all the stuff
yeah,
at your fingertips. So
yeah. Anyways, do you want to do your last one, or if you have
is
one?
it my last one? I have two. I have two at the end.
Okay.
And there. It's hard to like. I went back and forth by these two, so I don't know. Maybe it's just one by the end of it because I couldn't decide. Um, One, Close Encounters, because it's the one that is most directly, like we talked about it, like the one that's most directly linked to the movie itself. Like
Mm,
the score influences the movie, and the movie influences the score, and it's all a give and take. Um, so Close Encounters, I think, is maybe my top, but probably above all of that, the one that I think of most with John Williams and Spielberg is E.T. Like it is
yeah,
the most heartfelt and warming and magical score. Like it makes you believe in like an alien who's just an ugly brown big-eyed thing that just like fell from the sky and this kid fell in love with. It's so man, the score for ET is wonderful. And ET
that's
is wonderful.
Justin's favorite.
He's not wrong. He's not
Yeah,
wrong. I think it's probably their best one. I have a lot of honorable mentions. I'll mention those real quick while we're waiting on your top one. But like ET's my top, I think. ET's my top, and like Close Encounters is like notch and notch with it. But the other ones would be Born on the 4th of July, Hook, Home Alone, Jurassic Park, Saving Private Ryan, Star Wars, Schindler's List, and of course Jaws. The
oh,
second half of
Williams
Jaws.
did Born on 4th of July. I didn't know that.
Yeah, he did, and it is compared to like the realism of the movie, which is like by Oliver Stone. It is like this orchestral sort of like it's a weird dichotomy between images and that, and it's kind of wonderful, but it's also kind of weird. But it's great. You should give it a listen, and you should just watch the movie too. The movie's great. It's got a good Tom Cruise in it, which
Yeah.
is sort of hard to come by sometimes.
What?
Sometimes Tom Cruise is just doing the Tom Cruise thing where he's like Mission
Yeah.
Impossible man. And so it's nice to see him finally act like that. Magnolia. Those two are the ones that come off the top of my head. But
For sure. Um,
what is your top one?
my top one. Well, it's not my favorite. It's a close second, but this is the one I'm really going to talk about.
Mm.
Um, and it would have to be from the Fablemans. The journey begins. And I think this is my opinion. I'm not saying of all time, but I'm saying this is probably my personal favorite Spielberg moment.
Okay.
When he meets John Ford, played by David Lynch, perfectly so.
I will say is my favorite part of the whole movie. Like 100%.
Yeah.
So good. Like
Um.
that whole end is amazing.
Yeah, and when he walks outside, he's on like the railing, and the music
Hmm.
starts slow but hopeful. And Sammy Fableman is probably thinking to himself, "Holy shit! I just met my hero, John Ford." And then he walks off. He walks off the ramp into the horizon.
Hmm.
In between those two studio buildings. Um, and he's thinking to himself, "You know what? I can make it. I think I can make it into the movie industry."
Hmm.
And then, but the whole score is hopeful and upbeat, and then it cuts to the credits, and it's very elegant piano.
Hmm.
A piano piece is being played, kind of telling the audience that this kid is going to be the most influential, or one of the most influential and creative directors of all time. And I also kind of go back to the mom because she wanted to be a classical piano player.
I love
Um,
all that.
yeah. And then there's a reprise of Maisie's dance theme, and then the mother and son theme. With every time I hear that particular part of this score, the do. I get goosebumps every time, and I'm almost on the verge of tears. It just makes me think of like the whole movie over again.
That's good. And
Yeah.
that's the best part. That's the best part of like any score is like
Mm.
hearing just like those few little beats um bring back a flood of memories. A flood of memories of the movie itself and the memories in you. Like it's the best part of like watching a movie and enjoying the score is that it's like a key into it without having to see the whole thing. Like that's the John Williams magic.
Right. And the thing I like about the reprise of Maisie's theme, I think I hope I'm saying that name right. And then the mother and son theme, it reminds us of the family drama and the bond that Sammy had with his mother. And then it ends on a minor key to indicate that Sammy / Spielberg will always be scarred by their mother's affair. Like that's something that's always gonna permeate like the whole kind of divorce thing and then the whole, thing with his father, that's always gonna permeate in his movie.
Mm,
That's always an aspect. Or not
sure.
always, but that's usually a strong aspect or some of a strong aspect in Spielberg's movies.
Mm.
His father figures of some kind.
Sure. The lack thereof, because he didn't grow up with like a dad in his life for a long time. I will say though that movie makes her out to not necessarily be a villain, which I appreciate.
It easily could have
Even though
been.
she is the adulterous one, yeah. Um, um, I don't know. Fableman's
Well,
fine movie. It's a fine movie. It's not my favorite Spielberg movie.
it kind of makes sense because I mean you definitely tell that her and Bert loved each other,
Hmm.
but not necessarily romantically, but just as people. But Bert didn't. It seemed like he didn't. Bert didn't believe in her enough. Like didn't really
Yeah,
encourage her
yeah.
to go
No,
out
that's fair.
and
It,
pursue
it
her dreams.
I will say the best
But it was a
part
different
about
time back then too.
no,
This
of
was
course,
the 50s
of
and the
course.
60s when we were expected to stay at home and take care of
The
the house.
best for sure. And the best part about the Fableman is that it doesn't fall into those hysterics of those well trodden sort of like, oh, you're cheating on me and I'm gonna slap you around, or like, oh, you're so bad, I'm gonna throw stuff across the room. Like any of those sort of like heightened melodrama sort of things. Like it feels very real, everything he's making.
Right, for
And I
sure.
appreciate that, but I don't love it.
Yeah. Well, I thought it was interesting how when he's showing his Beats movie to his
Hmm.
classmates, how they were doing that one song from the 60s that if you want a happy life, never make a pretty room of your life.
Hmm.
I think it goes along with a lot of those 60s songs that sound happy and they're real catchy, but they're kind
Hmm.
of either dark or really misogynistic, like this one. Because if you really read the lyrics of those songs, it definitely dives into that whole like gender role thing that, like I said, women have to stay you know, must stay at home. Kind of,
100%.
yeah, and that kind of goes back into the theme of this movie, or one of the themes of the movie.
I mean, yes. I
Yeah,
wish they would have played those themes up a little more. I mean, it is essentially a male movie about a male protagonist
right.
who happens to have.
But Spielberg is male.
I know. Yeah, I know. But it's a fine movie. It's not one of his best, in my opinion.
I disagree. I think it's his top five. Like, it's
Mm,
definitely my top five favorite, and I think it's his all time best. And
that's fair.
I just love that final thought of him walking off into the sunset, and then just the frame from the horizon. This is hilarious.
No, I love that. I love those final moments. To me, they feel like a different movie. It feels like a movie that's about to begin. and I think that was the intention, which is fine. But if you don't know who Spielberg is, then it just falls flat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, if you don't know who Spielberg is, like, it's just this kid wandering off into the sunset, and now it's supposed to be happy, and you're like,
Yeah,
do I
but I
feel
think
happy about
Spielberg
this?
assumed that majority of the audience watching this movie loosely about his life
Sure,
knows who he
sure,
is.
sure, sure. Probably
You
knows
know,
who he
he's
is.
gonna
You're right.
make
You're right.
Jaws and E.T. and Jurassic Park and Schindler's List.
But at the same time, it's like the end of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. It's like
But that's different.
that movie has a different feel if you don't know who Sharon Tate is in the
But
Manson
it's not.
murders.
But he's not as big of a name as Steven Spielberg. This is Steven Spielberg compared to Shannon Tate.
Yeah, but I mean,
If you,
millennials nowadays, like, what is the Steven Spielberg movie to them? Like, anybody born in the last 10 years,
but people still
like
watch
the
those movies.
post,
People
the
still reference
post. You
Jaws.
know what I mean? Like,
At the beach or at the pool, you still do the bottom, bottom. So like these movies are still in the lexicon. People still love
right.
these, no matter
But
how.
they may not know where it came from. I don't know. I don't know. I'm hot and cold on the end of it. I love the end of the movie,
Hmm.
and I'm hot and cold on the rest of the movie.
Yeah, I will fight. I will fight you on that. On the
That's
end.
fair. That's fair. You can fight me. Fight me any day. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah.
So that
So
was John
anyway,
Williams.
there's that.
Mm-hmm.
You want to talk about
Sure.
Dial
No, I'm
of
still
Death?
here.
Okay.
Yeah, no, we want to talk about Dial of Destiny. Did
Let's just talk
you I
about it.
assume you've seen it at least.
What do you mean
You've
theme it?
seen Dial you've seen Dial of Destiny, right?
Yeah, I saw. I saw it opening weekend with my aunt.
Yeah, I saw it too.
I thought it was a lot better than I thought it was gonna be. I'll say this. Um, and this is probably just unfair because Spielberg and what's
Not
his face
unfair.
James Mangold are two
Yep.
different directors from two different
Sure.
eras. But I
Mm-hmm.
feel like even though Crystal Skull had his problems,
Uh-huh.
um, which we can get into that if you want to.
Sure.
Um,
No, man, I think we have to, probably.
yeah, that movie had way more memorable action scenes, and I think it's all that have to do with Ford being a little bit younger, and if the pacing was better. But that's just kind of the director, Spielberg is. He knows how to do action scenes, and he know how to do like quick movies or tightly knit movies.
Yeah. And I think James Mangold does too. Like, I don't think that he is incapable. I mean, he did Logan, and Logan has action sequences in it.
But there's slower
But
moments too. It's not as fast paced as a Spielberg movie.
yeah, no, and that is the biggest flaw of Dial of Destiny. Dial of Destiny is a better movie than Crystal Skull.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Well, it's better than the second half of Crystal Skull. The first half of Crystal Skull, minus the refrigerator nuclear explosion, is fine. Like the chase through the courtyard and him like crossing cars and getting out on the bike again, all that's super fun.
See, I was
The
fine
second
with
half of
the
Crystal
with
Skull is a
making the fridge. I was completely fine with that. But like,
I was fine with it until he like hit and then rolled, and I'm like, he's dead inside of that thing. Like
okay, that's fair. That's
it's
totally
just turned
fair.
him into indie
But you
putty. Yeah.
cannot tell me that in Dial of Destiny that Indiana Jones is tied up by the Nazis, and then
Mm-hmm.
a nuke goes into the building that he's kidnapped in. It goes off, and he just flies everywhere, debris everywhere, and he survives. He was freaking next to that nuke at that moment.
Right. And that's why I'm like, these last two movies don't matter. To
But he had
me,
protection in the
I
refrigerator.
don't care. I mean, to me, these last two movies are fine. They're fan fiction in some ways. The true end of Indiana Jones is them riding off in the sunset at the end of Last Crusade.
Yeah, but with the horizon at the top and bottom of the screen.
Doesn't matter. It's at the bottom of the screen. because it's got screen roll up, so they're at like here, and like they're riding off, and
Yeah.
the whole thing rolls up. But these last two movies are fine, but they are not Indiana Jones movies.
Hmm.
They are products of the time that they're made in.
I
There
will
are fun
say,
aspects of both of them. There are terrible aspects of both of them.
I wouldn't even say terrible. Just not. I would say more lackluster.
Lackluster about the aliens at the end, and like the Shia LaBeouf like swinging from trees, and then like just the
I
whole
think
the whole end of it's. Sorry, go
I would
ahead. Sorry.
argue that there's less egregious moments in Dial of Destiny. 'Cause I
Oh
actually
no, for
I
sure.
kind of
No,
aspect
for
of it. I thought that
sure.
was interesting.
100%. Like there are like 100. Um,
Do you know the
they
time travel
introduce
aspect of it?
Antonio Banderas in a scene, and then 10 minutes later he's dead.
Did,
Like
but,
basically, like why introduce this character at all?
but did you like the time travel aspect of this movie?
This is getting spoilers. This is getting the spoilers for anybody out there who hasn't seen it yet.
Yeah, sorry.
Um, I
Well, no, he's
will
watching it
say,
live anyways.
yeah, no, you're right. I will say I was fine with it when they finally did it because it was something new, and everything else before then felt so safe. You know what I mean? Like they did the bug sequence for like 2 seconds, and they did like the everything else, and they put Indy underwater for a minute. Like I don't know, everything just felt very safe and CGI, and like nothing was gonna happen. Um, I will say I do like the first 20 minutes of the movie. Like if it was a short film as its own, minus the de-aging. The de-aging is kind of weird.
I
It
would,
works in some parts and doesn't work in other parts. And that ultimately what it boils down to is that the movie is too long. Every other indie movie besides like Crusade is like under 2 hours, or like right at 2 hours, like 2 hours and like 2 minutes, I think is Crystal Skull. And everyone else is like hour 55. You know what I mean? Like it's just too long. Like it does not need to be 2.5 hours. And there are just so many repetitive scenes that by the middle of the movie, I'm just like, I don't care if they find it or
yeah.
not.
I will say, I normally do not like the de-aging effect, or I do. It doesn't bother me at all. I
Hmm.
thought it was pretty bad here. Especially that part when he tells the Nazi guy, "You lost." It didn't his face feel kind of rubbery or stretchy or something like that. It just felt off.
Oh no, for sure. Like the aging him back to like the 40s, like him being like a 40-year-old. Aging him back to being a 40-year-old
Sorry, that was funny. You knocked your glasses
looked
off.
weird, looked very weird. Um, but I will say later in the film, whenever they de-aged him again, they did a flashback when the daughter, I can forget her name, Hannah,
Helena.
Helena, um, goes and like tells him to leave, or like talk like sees him out whenever her father Toby Jones is like losing it. Looked pretty good.
Mm.
But the earlier scenes, it was very hit or miss. Sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't, and that scene goes on for like 20 minutes.
Yeah,
And it's like every sequence in this movie was just like too long.
mhm.
Like if they just like smashed it all together, it probably would have been pretty great. But
Yeah,
actually, I mean, it's pretty bland
I think
all
the
around.
best thought in the beginning of with the de-aging effect is when he turns his back to Toby Jones and like his face is kind of shadow. It's kind of in the shadows, kind of in the darkness. I thought that looked really good.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, it goes back to like that Grand Moff Tarkin stuff from like
Yeah, it is
Rogue One.
like any of
Like the
that
shadow,
really
like
bad.
the in the window stuff looks great.
That didn't bother
But
me.
like,
I thought it was actually Peter Cushing. I totally forgot the man was dead when I saw Rogue One.
mm,
Same thing
I don't
with
know.
Leia. Like I'm sorry. Like I know everybody does not like the DJs in the back. It never bothers me, except for Harrison Ford. I may need to go back and watch some of these movies or these parts from these movies, but it didn't bother me in Ant-Man. Didn't bother me in Rogue One. Didn't bother me in Guardians 2. It just doesn't bother me.
Okay.
It,
I mean, I
it,
will say the ones in Guardians 2 look pretty good. Like the de-aging of Kurt Russell in Guardians 2 looks great because it's only a 4-minute sequence. It's
I
in,
mean,
and not like
probably less than
15
two.
minutes. Like there's a 15-minute sequence they have to de-age in this movie,
Uh,
and it should not be that long. Like
oh, I even
he
pointed
should
out
have
the fact.
started on the train. Like he starts at like the house and he's getting hung, and then he like makes it through that, and then he gets on the train, and then there's a whole sequence on the train. I don't know. It's
Yeah,
so much.
I love the part when it's like the white shot of him running on the train because that brought me back memories of Last Crusade.
The There are moments in this movie that I love, and there are moments in this movie that I feel just as I hate myself for saying this, that I hate just as much as Crystal Skull.
Right.
It is. I mean, the end of the trilogy for me again is them riding off in the sunset at Last Crusade. Like these are fan fiction that they just happen to get Harrison Ford for me at least. They're
Yeah.
fine, but whatever.
Yeah. Oh, so I just clicked on my Facebook page real quick, and
Hmm.
the first thing I saw was a post from our good friend Reed Lackey from the Fear of God
Hmm.
podcast, and he has a son named Sawyer, and his post was, "I just blew Sawyer's mind with the Sixth Sense." I'm
Oh
like,
no!
teach him young.
First time you seen it.
Yeah. Man, you're a brave soul, Reed Lackey, for showing your son that at such a young age. That's a pretty
I
scary
know.
movie
I mean, the
for
first time you watch The Sixth Sense, it's mind blowing in some
No,
ways.
I'll just admit because like there's some scary stuff in there. Like when he goes in the tent, the tent scene like messed me up.
Oh, the scene where she's like throwing up, or like the back of the head kid.
No, what he's throwing out. The tent.
Mm,
I said the tent. Tent.
they're
Tent.
all the same for me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Speed, Keanu Reeves. So you want to talk about Insidious, the Red Door?
you can. I'll listen to you. I don't know
Mm.
anything about it. I've seen the first Insidious movie, and this first Insidious movie is fine.
Mm.
Um, and I think I've seen the second Insidious movie, and the second Insidious movie is fine.
Yeah.
And so
I'll
I
think
assume this fifth movie is fine.
Yeah. I think the part that freaked me out with Insidious 2 is when he had the Jane Lynch character, but younger, and she's played by a younger actress who looks a lot like that character. But Jane Lynch had that very like comforting grandma voice, which I don't know if the younger actress is doing a Jane Lynch impression or Jane Lynch or not, I'm not Lindsay. I'm trying to say Lindsay.
Lynch, yeah, yeah, yeah. Not Jane Lynch, yeah.
Yeah,
Not Glee
Lindsay.
Jane Lynch, yeah.
Yeah, Lindsay. So I don't know if Lindsay is dubbing over the young actress, but it felt
Mm,
so weird
yeah,
watching that movie with the younger actress with
sure.
Lindsay's kind of voice. Because yeah, you're not old enough to have that kind of voice.
Which is the weird part about ND5. Whenever he's talking in the prologue and he sounds like a 7-year-old, he's supposed to sound like a
Oh
40
no,
year
I
old.
was way focused on the terrible de-aging effect. I did not know his voice in that movie.
It's just I want to love Indiana Jones, and I do. I do love
Mm.
Raiders and Temple of Doom for the most part, and Crusade,
And
which I do really love.
it wasn't as woke as everybody said it was going to be. God, I hate the whole culture war thing. I'm not gonna get on that horse.
I found it. Give it to Phoebe Bridgers Waller. I would have loved to have seen like her take it over at this point.
Yeah, but
He's
like,
not going to. I mean, he barely did anything in this movie. He did
yeah,
more in Temple
well,
and
he did
Kingdom of the
more than
Crystal
her.
Skull.
Was everybody was scared of? Was scared that he was gonna like kind of like best him and everything with the clearly did not
She
happen.
did. It was fine.
Yeah, I don't know. I hate the whole course of war thing. Like it was not quote unquote woke. And even if it was, who cares? But anyways, Insidious Red Door, pretty solid flick. I will
Okay.
say it does make you not want to go into a MRI machine ever again.
Okay. Okay.
Because this dude, Patrick Olson gets a an MRI scan, or yeah, that's what it's called, or CAT scan or something like that. But he's in that MRI machine, and it's
Sure.
so creepy. Like even
Okay.
before, like whatever pops out, pops out. It the atmosphere around it is real creepy.
MRIs are very scary
Mm.
to begin with because they're very loud and you have to like push your body through them. So
Oh, and I didn't even see this movie in like the nice like XD theater. I just saw it in the regular theater, and it that sound effect of the MRI machine going off was like great in surround sound.
sure.
But yeah, pretty decent movie. I'm not as emotionally connected to the Insidious movies, and I've only seen like the first two. I watched the night
Right.
before, and then this one. Um, as like the Conjuring movies, I'm not as emotionally connected to these movies as the Conjuring. But I did like this last one more than the last Conjuring because I don't really remember
Oh,
anything from Conjuring 3.
the devil made me do it.
Yeah, like the intro was great. Like I thought that was real cool how they did the thing with the possessed kid, but everything else is kind of just mid to me.
I don't remember anything about that movie.
Yeah. John Noble is awesome, and he's always great.
Who?
John Noble, Denethor from Return of the King.
Oh, was he in that?
Yeah.
How about that? Okay.
Um, but yeah, yeah, I wasn't crazy about that, about the third Conjuring movie. But this one was pretty good. I love hearing the Ghost song at the end, and I'm a pretty big fan of the band Ghost. I think they're great. I think they're a really cool, like old school rock band, and you should listen to them for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll send
I
you
will.
some
I
songs.
will.
You have to, like after we get off of here, listen to it. Listen
You
to
should
them.
bring the song up now in the
Well,
cast.
would it play it?
I don't know. Maybe.
Okay. Well, I'm not
And then
gonna
I'll
play
just tell
that
you it's
song.
trash or not.
I'm not gonna play that song, but I'll play
That's
Ghost
fair.
song.
Okay, play one.
I mean, nobody's gonna fucking listen to this anyways.
No, people are here. They're listening, right?
Nobody's watching right now.
It's fine. They'll watch later. They will. They always do.
Yeah.
Or they won't. I don't know. Whatever.
Can you hear it?
No, I hear nothing.
You don't hear anything?
Mm-mm.
All right, then never mind.
Okay. I think
Go the bus.
the Indiana Jones movie was fine. It was a fitting into this Disney era Indiana Jones.
Yeah. But
If you
well,
had
no, it's so
mashed
brief. It only had one movie, one
right.
entry.
Well, here's the thing. It's like if you had mashed the beginning of Crystal Skull and the end of Dial of Destiny together, it'd have been a pretty good movie. And it'd have been like 2 hours. That's the beauty of like Crystal Skull is that it is only 2 hours long. Even though it is hot garbage from an hour on in. That's it. That's all I got. I don't know.
Okay.
I
But
will
yeah,
say I also watched Asteroid City, which is a quasi horror sci-fi. I mean, it's not horror sci-fi, it's sci-fi comedy.
Didn't Jeff Goldblum play the alien in that movie?
He does,
I heard
and
about that. That's hilarious.
it's fun.
Yeah,
It's a lot of fun.
and he's
It's not
also the
great.
wizard in the Wicket movie that's coming out.
Mhm. Oh, is there a Wicked movie coming out? I
Yeah,
haven't
there's
heard
gonna be a
about that.
part one, part two situation.
Mm.
Um, yeah, but going back to Insidious, I liked how they focused on Patrick Wilson and his son Ty Simpkins. With that kid, like really like grew as an actor because I don't remember him as like the really enthusiastic like fanboy kid in like Iron Man 3 and Jurassic World. Now he's in like The Whale and then he's in like this crazy horror movie about astral projecting.
Right. It's the same kid though, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, Ty
I think
Simpkins
it
was in the
is.
first one.
Yeah. No, he's the kid on the poster.
Yeah. Well, like he gives it like when he's not, in his coma state, like he's at the exact same energy as he is in Iron Man 3 and Jurassic.
Yeah. Yeah. For better or worse.
Yeah. I love that kid. Every time I see him in Jurassic World, like it warms my heart because I like who wasn't that kid? And he was definitely like the Tim.
I believe him, but he exhausts me.
Really, I love that kid. He was
I I think he's great in the Insidious movies, and I think he's fine in the first part of the Jurassic World, but that's about it.
yeah. I don't know. I just loved him in Jurassic World. And I love that part when it's playing the theme and it's at that wonder shot, helicopter shot of the park.
Sure.
Yeah, like you should have seen my face in the theaters. Like I was all like Google Gaga over that.
Yeah.
But anyway, before we wrap this up, do you want to talk about the big movie that's coming out this week? Which
What's coming
is
out this week?
little doo doo bum 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 bum.
What movie is this?
You didn't recognize the theme song?
Uh-uh.
Doo doo doo.
No, no,
Oh,
you're good. You're good. You're good. I know
incredible.
what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about. I watched Fallout earlier today, actually.
That's a good
No,
one.
I'm super excited. I'm super excited for it.
Me and you, man, next
I
weekend. Let's do it. Saturday or Sunday.
I can't next weekend. So let me know how it
Oh,
is. Yeah, let me know how it is. I can't.
I might have to walk through without you.
I'm all sliced up. Yeah, let me know how it is because it is one of the movies. It is one of like series of movies that I will like constantly make my way. Like I'm gonna go see this in theaters,
Yeah.
and I've seen all of them except for like
Mm,
two in theaters,
okay.
and two looks like trash, and it is trash. So
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah. 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 I might have to walk. I'm not waiting.
No, no, go,
Yeah.
and let me know. Let me know how it is,
Yeah.
or how bad it is. I assume it's probably pretty great.
Dude.
Although it is almost 3 hours long, which is wild to me.
Yeah. Yeah. This is as long as Oppenheimer, which I'm excited for that movie too. That movie's gonna be.
It's longer. Oppenheimer is longer. It's 3 hours. It's a
Yeah.
full 3 hours.
Man, I'm excited for that.
I'm okay about it. I think it'll be fine. I'm not excited.
Mhm.
I saw Tenet, and so I'm like, it's gonna
Yeah.
be fine.
He can make it his way out of the ashes. I feel like. Um.
Maybe, maybe.
I don't know. But I love the Mission Impossible movies, especially
100%. I'd
Ghost
fight a
Protocol.
person for a Mission Impossible movie. Yep.
I'm really yeah, I really like Ghost Protocol. That was the only one I saw in theaters.
Hmm.
Uh, as the
Fallout's great. Fallout was great in
Yeah,
theaters.
Fallout was better than Rogue Nation because I thought Rogue Nation had a really like kind of disappointing like climax.
Rogue
Like I was like
Nation
kind of out of it at that point.
was fine. Rogue Nation was fine, but no, Fallout stakes all around, great.
Well,
And like setting
I
up
really love
multiple
the
stakes, so like multiple, yeah. Um, yeah, no, any, and let's see, any of them past two have been pretty good.
Yeah. Well, I think 3 like was the most underrated one. Because it set up a
Hmm.
lot of because I think the first one was trying to be a little bit like the show a little bit.
Hmm.
Um, or kind of have a classic kind of like vibe to it, like a
Sure.
vintage kind of vibe. I think 2 went in a completely different direction. 3 is really, really found its footing because he had the whole thing with the wife, and then he had an emotional aspect to it. Also,
Sure.
when they're getting set up for their mission, especially when they're in Italy, they're they're talking about his personal life and what is about this wife that I keep hearing about, kind of thing.
Hmm.
So there's that kind of going on in the movie.
No, I mean, I saw one in theaters in '96 when it came out. Um, I remember when two came out, and it looked like a knockoff of The Matrix in some ways, and it is. Um, three on, it's pretty great though.
Yeah, I just like 4 because I that was the only one I saw in theaters
Mm.
of the you know so far, and I was just blown away, especially when he's climbing up the tallest building in Dubai. Like that freaked me out so much. Especially
No,
the part that always the 2 shots that always like freak me out the most in that scene is when he's standing outside the window looking down, and you're like, holy crap, he's actually about to climb this. And then when he's maybe like a good 2 minutes in his climb, it's that helicopter shot of him climbing up. That always freaks me out. I'm like, oh my god, he's actually doing this. Like that is Tom Cruise climbing up the tallest building in the world. Like that is insane to me. Like he did that for real.
it makes the movies worthwhile to me.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that's why these movies have a little bit of an edge over like Fast and Furious and like John Wick. And I love
For
John
sure.
Wick.
I like
I
John
like
Wick.
I love the fourth one. The fourth one was amazing.
I like the second half of the fourth one.
Well, I disagree with you.
That's fair. I I was bored up until they started the fight at the end. Like
Okay.
the last hour. Last hour is amazing. But
Mm.
up until then I'm kinda like, I don't give a fuck.
Hey, hey, I gotta go do something real quick. I'm gonna mute myself real quick.
That's fair.
Yeah, you just want to keep talking.
I don't know what to talk about. I'm just gonna sit here and wait till Drew comes back. And really probably just say some terrible things about the Fablemans. No, I would never say anything terrible with Fablemans. Fablemans is a fine movie. It is Spielberg's most personal movie, which is fine. I've seen worse movies, is what I'm getting down to. But it's just not a good movie when it comes down to it, in my opinion. I would much rather watch any of the other Spielberg movies when it comes down to it. But Drew's back now, so we will go back into it. Hello.
Oh, hello.
Oh, hi.
Are you talking shit about the Fablemans again?
No, I would never do that.
Yeah, I heard you talk shit about them.
I was just stating a general opinion that
Well, you have
you
a lot of
and
general
or
opinions,
everybody
Derek.
probably knows at this point. What now?
you have the wrong general opinion because this movie's fucking amazing.
That's fair. I'm glad you love it.
I mean, you do make some fair points about that movie, but the one thing I do not get is people not liking the poster. What is wrong with the poster of that movie? Is it too cheesy for people? The whole,
No,
capture every moment and then it's like clips from the movie.
it's shitty. It's a shitty poster.
Well, you know what, Eric?
That's okay. You can
Oh,
wind
I'm
it up.
sorry, I didn't
It
know how
is
that worked.
it's just so obvious and so like it's not a good poster.
Dude,
There
freaking
could have
Crazy
been
the
a
Hunter.
better poster for that movie. Could have been a really good poster for that movie.
Dude, freaking Craven the Hunter has like the worst tagline ever.
I don't know what the tagline is.
His villains aren't born, they're made. I'm like, yeah, that's not cliche as hell.
It's like every movie. Mm,
Yeah, it's
mm.
terrible.
Done.
Yeah, this maybe you'll be good. Maybe you'll be good. I mean, it can't be any worse than Morbius. Morbius wasn't like terrible. It was just like lackluster compared to like the Venom movie because the Venom movies had like a personality to them.
It sounds like trash to me. What you're describing, it's like hot garbage.
Yeah, when Morbius had like good filmmaking moments, like when he's like in the cave at the beginning, and then when he's taking out all the guys like on the ship. But then like everything after that's kind of like boring.
All this sounds like hot garbage.
Yeah, like the whole time I kept watching Morbius, like I just wanted to watch David Cronenberg's The Fly, which was a way more interesting, like human being morphing um into a creature animal kind of thing.
So you're saying that people should just watch The Fly versus watching anything recent in movies.
No, I'm saying like watch the Fly over Morbius because that's clearly the better movie.
Right. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
Don't watch that trash.
Yeah.
Hot garbage.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of Mission Impossible, just real quick, and I guess we can wrap this shit up. What is
Sure.
your favorite in my stunt?
My favorite one?
Mm,
Shit. That's hard.
sorry, that was an annoying laugh.
Oh, you're fine. Um, I don't know. I mean, I feel like they're always upping themselves. So like anytime I say in like I'm like the last one.
Hmm.
When he was like hanging from the ropes and he fell and he hit the payload and then like almost fell off. Like that was pretty great. Like I could say the one previously. If you'd asked me 6 months before that one came out, I would have said the previous one where he like was like falling from something. Like to me, it is always the one-upsmanship of the Mr. Possible crew and really of like the I guess Tom Cruise crew of just like one upping themselves at every point and going like we're gonna try something new this time. I'm all for it because at any point it was like that's the best one
Hmm.
until the next one. You know what I mean? Until the next one, until the next one, until the next one. And
Yeah.
so I'm here for the next one.
Yeah. I'm gonna see my probably my favorite. And I had it. I can't remember. Oh, it's probably when he's escaping the hospital from 4.
It is super fun.
Mm.
That one is super fun.
And then I like the underwater one from 5. That one's really cool.
Yeah. Where
That
he's
was
getting like sucked
impressive.
around that tank. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that was really impressive. Like, I don't know how the hell he did that.
Did. That's how we
Yeah.
did it.
It would be really funny, and this is gonna like set the conspiracy theorist off. But like, what if there's like a factory where they keep making like Tom Cruise clones, and it's not really Tom Cruise doing these stunts. He keeps dying. Like these are just so impossible to pull off without dying.
I love it.
Yeah.
I watched that movie. Tom Cruise clone movie. Love it.
But yeah, anyways, so with Mission Impossible stunt would you want to do the most, and which one would you want to do the least?
None of them. I mean, what's the one where you drop into the room? That's the one.
Oh, the first one we repelled down.
Yeah, yeah, because it's easy.
Yeah. I like to do the one where he's making out with Michelle Monaghan before he goes off to his mission in 3. Dude, help, dude. She is gorgeous. I'm not gonna lie. Like I haven't seen her in too many other stuff, but like she is absolutely beautiful.
Sure, sure.
Yeah.
She's also a great actress, and so that's. I mean, what ultimately matters is that the idea of Mission Impossible might continue on past Tom Cruise.
I doubt it. Nobody's gonna see
I
it.
think it will. I think they will at least try it. And it'll probably fail, but
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I'm gonna predict it right now. I think that's gonna be the top movie of the summer. That's gonna be the highest grossing movie
I think it won't be.
of the
I
summer.
think I think I think we've already seen it. I think it's um Spider-Verse. I think it's Spider-Verse 2.
Man, don't hold on, Tom Cruise. But then again, it only had that one weekend because Oppenheimer and Barbie's coming out the next weekend, so
Right.
it
Right.
might be a close
And
second. It might be a close second.
I don't think it's gonna get above 200. Like most Mr. Possible movies top out around like 230,
Like
like
1,000.
250 tops. Yeah. 230 million. Like
And this is a
safe
weekend, right?
side.
What or
No. What I'm saying is like um those movies won't top it. They've never topped the box office as far as like top movies for the year. Like even 96 was like Independence Day.
right?
So what I'm saying is like I don't think it'll be the tops, but um I think it'll do
Yeah, I'm
really
looking at
well.
the highest grossing one, and I'll follow out the highest grossing one. Oh, two to
Yeah,
second most highest grossing one,
right.
which is really weird.
People are really excited for it.
Yeah. Here's my question. Um, is Mission Impossible 4, is that the only one not released in that did not release in summer?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I thought that was weird that they didn't that wasn't a summer movie.
It was like a November something.
Yeah, I think it was December maybe.
Maybe it was December. Yeah. It
Yeah,
was it was
that was the
later in the
year
year.
that was the year I went to go see my dad, and I just remember the poster in Atlanta airport for some reason.
Hmm.
You know, the one where he has like the hoodie on.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, and I just keep remembering seeing that trailer, and it looked awesome. I'm like, yeah, I gotta see it. I haven't seen any Mission Impossibles, but I want to see that. And that's the first one I ever watched, like ever,
Hmm.
too. And so I just want to mention that.
Yeah.
Um, what else was I gonna say? Oh yeah, because I went to see the fourth one with my grandma and grandfather, and I
Mm,
remember my grandma went, she went somewhere. I guess he went to go get snacks or whatever. And I remember I was
mm-hmm.
telling my grandfather that I was really looking forward to this movie, and he said, "Oh yeah, like I used to watch the TV show all the time when I was younger." I'm like, "Wait, this for the TV show?" Because this is so synonymous to Tom Cruise. Like when you say Mission Impossible, you don't think the TV show, you think of Tom Cruise.
Oh no. I mean, before this was the TV show. So
Yeah.
it was only TV show before 96.
Hmm.
So before 96 it was the I forget his name. Um but yeah, no, it definitely wasn't Tom Cruise before then. Like
Yeah.
there was no Mission Impossible at that point. Like it was like the 60s ideal of it.
Mm. Yeah, we definitely didn't have like people dropping off the fucking cliffs on a motorcycle.
No, no, no. They weren't doing that. They were doing like TV series like stunts at best.
Yeah, they were doing like espionage, like breaking into like the Pentagon kind of thing.
Right. Right.
And I've never seen the show, so I probably never will. I don't watch a lot of TV shows,
The show itself is fine.
right? So I guess we're not gonna get anybody watching us live. Hopefully, we get some views in the next coming days for this. But you know what? We gave it
It's
our
fine.
best shot. What was that?
I don't know.
That was just weird.
I was just trying to do something without like a middle finger. I don't know.
Yeah,
What do you want me to do?
I don't know. I'm getting tired, dude. I'm probably gonna watch some Harry Potter because that score.
I'm gonna try to watch I'm actually gonna watch Rushmore maybe.
Really, I never
Yeah.
seen a Wes Anderson movie. I know his style for sure, and I actually
You've
just
never
bought.
watched any of them?
No,
Get the
well, I actually
get
bought
out of here.
Grand Budapest for like less than $5 at like Goodwill. So is that a good one to watch for my first one?
Wait, have you not watched it yet? You bought it, but you haven't watched it?
No.
Watch it. Yes. That is a perfect one to like get you into it.
Okay.
It-
Oh,
it's like
speaking
the
of,
it's like the perfect it's like the perfect pace for a general audience, just like blah, 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 blah.
yeah,
Everything before and after is slower, if that makes sense.
I will say I do like how Asteroid City, like the trailer looks very much like a silent movie. Like the blocking of it, like the look of it.
I love there are bits in Asteroid City I love. Is not great.
Really, I've been
But
hearing some of that. I've
but
been
there
hearing,
but there's a moment in the middle that is amazing.
mhm, really.
And I want to. I don't want to. I mean, I don't know how much you know about it, but like, I don't want to give anything away. Um, but it's fine. It's a fine Wes Anderson movie. It's
Yeah.
not the best, but there's some really good bits.
Jackson wants Wes Anderson to do like a 60s Batman style movie.
I'd watch it. I'd watch
Yeah.
that.
Let's do it, man. Like that do a fan made version of that. Like
Okay.
you can direct it. We can get people we know.
So much money. So much money.
Yeah, but it'll just be like a simple thing. Like we won't like we'll do it in the style of a Wes Anderson movie. It would be like more like a fan made trailer, really. But like he had like Owen Wilson and the Scarecrow, which I volunteer because I can do a pretty good Owen Wilson impression.
Mm.
I'm like, hey Batman, I got this fear toxin. Oh wow.
Oh.
um
Wow.
I actually started trying to watch that new Owen Wilson movie Paint, and I got like 20 minutes into it, and I couldn't watch it anymore. It got too creepy.
Sounds devastating.
Yeah, it was just weird, like because he was like inviting like female colleagues to like his house, and like he was giving them foot massage. It was weird. It was like very Harvey Weinstein.
Are we still live right now? Are
Yeah,
we still?
yeah, we're still alive.
I'm sorry, everyone. I'm sorry for all of this.
Yeah, it might be a bus, but
This is where we live.
yeah. But anyway, guys, hope you have a good night. Bye.